Hi friends, Connie here. In this video, we will compare 4 differences between starting to teach a young beginner versus starting to teach an older beginner. And for the purposes of this video, young beginner means age 3 to 6. Older means 7 all the way up through adult. Okay, at the end of the video, then we're going to vote on what you'd prefer. And stay to the end to find out which one I prefer and why. Okay, the first difference is their learning styles. They learn in very different ways. A 3 to 6-year-old learns pretty much by just doing it. If you explain, the words can go in one ear and out the other. And it kind of varies how many words actually they catch. Sometimes if you say anything, it doesn't matter. They have to do. They have to be hands-on. The pro for this is they have a great attitude. They have a can-do attitude. Remember the terrible twos that they just came out of where they could do everything themselves? I can tie my own shoe. No, they really couldn't, but they thought they could. That's similar to piano. Oh, I can do that. Boom, 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 boom. Well, sure. So you don't want to squash that, but you want to guide it. Okay, one great thing, they can mimic what you do because it's doing. So if you play some notes going up and you show them where their hands go, they can copy what you just did as long as they get their hands on and do it. But if you explain, I want you to put your hand in middle C position and play an ascending 5-note scale, you might as well be speaking French because they don't get it. Do, do, do. Okay? The downside to that is it can take them a while to understand what they're playing. But even once they can play it, it just might take them a long time to understand. All right. The older beginners, 7 years old up through adults, they can learn the concepts as well as the hands-on. So they've got both of those learning styles. So they can learn rhythm, but they also understand the math behind the rhythm. Like a measure is 4 counts. So a half note with 2 counts and a half note with 2 counts equals 4 counts for the measure. They understand that, where the 3 to 6-year-olds don't care and don't understand it. Okay, second difference, their reading level. 3 to 6-year-olds is anywhere from 0 to very little, very beginning reading. So you need to use pictures and visuals in teaching them, not writing things down or reading. 7 through adult, they can read, so they can read instructions that you give them. They can learn terms. They can learn to read the terms and spell the terms, all those musical terms. And they can follow along in the books and the instructions you write. So there's that. Okay, practicing. Huge difference. 3 to 6-year-olds are usually too young to practice on their own. They are going to need parents to anywhere from just remind them to get to the piano to sitting there with them through their practicing. So that's why we want to make sure the parents are involved in at least understanding what the kids are supposed to do so that they can help them sit there and know what they're supposed to practice. It's great if the parents can actually do it with them. And practice is not a long time. 5 minutes at a time. They do better doing 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night than 10 minutes altogether. And as they get older, that time expands so that they can do it a little longer. Okay, 7-year-olds to adult. Another thing about the 3 to 6-year-olds. They are very motivated by pleasing the parents or pleasing the teacher. So they practice just because practicing is what pleases. They're not practicing for a result from the practicing, any kind of intrinsic, if I practice, I'll get better. They practice because it makes mommy happy. They practice because when they come back to the lesson, the teacher's happy. So that's what motivates that age group. Now on to the 7 through adult. They can practice alone. They are more motivated by their own success, by having a song being difficult, and then eventually it gets easier and easier, and they can play it and it sounds nice. That's what motivates the older kids. They're not as happy if I'm thrilled or not, but their own success. And they can link that success to practicing. Little 3 to 6 year olds don't necessarily make that connection. All right, if you've received any benefit or value from this video so far, would you mind just tapping the like button? That helps more people see it. Thank you. Okay, on to the fourth difference, is the teacher's role. As a teacher, when you've got a 3 to 6 year old, you need to be entertaining, on the edge of silly and goofy. Okay, and you've got to have large hand gestures, especially if you're teaching online. We need to do things that keep the kids' attention and movement and gestures and things help that. So you need to be very animated and silly, goofy. Okay, and when you encourage those young kids, you need to make it about you. Oh, I am so impressed. I am blown away. I can't believe how good that was. Okay, and how smart they are. You're giving them compliments, but it's reflecting of how happy it makes you. I had a student that her mom would come and tell me during the week, she is so excited because she learned her whole lesson plus another song, and she said, Connie is going to be so happy she's going to tip over. I don't know where that term came from, but I had to oblige. So at her lesson, when she played that for me, I tipped over. Okay, so, and she was 5 when she giggled and loved that. And her motivation through the week was to make Connie surprised or happy or tip over. Okay, also, you need to have a fast-paced speech, fast-paced going from concept to concept with those little kids. You can't slow down or you'll lose them. Okay, now the older, age 7 and up, they would be probably very put off by that same type of approach. You don't say, oh, I'm just blown away. That makes me so happy. You're so smart. You're so wonderful. No, they'd be like, that's just, they see right through that. That's not for them. They're more motivated by what they get out of practicing. So your encouragement needs to be what they get out of practicing. Very specific. For example, for an adult student, I could say, okay, do you remember when we first introduced the dotted rhythms? It was a struggle, and I had to keep reminding you to how we counted that, and we clapped it out. I don't know if you noticed, but every single dotted quarter note and eighth note pair in this song was spot on perfect. Okay, see how that was very specific, and it pointed to their own progress, and they'll be much more encouraged and motivated by that than me being over the top, silly, and tip over. So another thing that you do a lot more with older students is listen. You want to always ask how was their day, take some time to just slow down, get into the lesson, and lots of piano teachers talk about older students just wanting to talk for a little bit. And it's true. And you get the chance to get to know them kind of on a friend level and hear about what's going on in their lives and be there for them. And you get to just slow down and take a much slower pace, which is another reason adult and older students have longer lesson times. Okay, I want you to give me a one-word answer on what you prefer teaching for a beginner student, older or younger. And as promised, here is what I prefer. All right, first impulse was to say both, because there's things that I prefer about both. I really, really enjoy teaching adult students. I enjoy teaching teen students. I enjoy teaching the 7 to 12-year-old students. But I think I prefer starting as a new beginner the very, very young kids, because they can accomplish, it's just so fun to watch them learn. I'm just truly amazed that those little tiny hands can do what they can do. I also get to train them up in the skills correctly. I have a very comprehensive approach, so they're learning theory and they're learning everything based on their age appropriateness, and I get to watch them grow up. They progress in piano, but they also get bigger and grow up a little bit, and Okay, honestly, the most fun, they love me. They love their mom and dad at that age. They love their teachers. And that just warms my heart. So, like a perfect cadence, this is the end.